Your task in this section was to explain what is scope in JavaScript and how does it work. Scope is a fundamental topic in JavaScript. In its simplest definition, scope refers to the visibility of variables. In JavaScript, scope is achieved through the use of functions. There are two types of boundaries in JavaScript, local and global, also referred to as inner and outer scopes. Let's go through a simple example. As you can see in my editor, I have already set up some examples. Let's take a look at the first one. In the first example, we have created a global variable called color, and we have set it to blue. We also have a function called myFavoriteColor that tries to return the variable color. And we also have a log output that will output the return value of the executed function. And this should return blue. Let's run the code. The reason we get blue logged out is that in the function, when the return statement tries to reference a variable named color, the function has access to the variable up here, outside of its function. This is because functions can always see or access variables defined outside of themselves. And since color is a global variable, this function has access to it. Now let's take a look at another example. In this example, we have another function called myFavoriteColor again, but this time we have declared a local variable, which is local to the function or the scope of this myFavoriteColor function. This means that this color variable right here will not exist to the world outside of this function. And finally, we have a log statement that tries to log out the variable color. But because we have defined our color variable this time within the function, we should get a reference error. Let's run the code. Great. We get a reference error as expected. The reason we are getting this reference error is because, as we just said, the color variable is being defined inside this function here. So now we do not have access to it when we try to actually log it out right here. Let's take a look at our last example. So once again, we have a function here called myFavoriteColor. However, this time inside the function, we are assigning an untyped variable colored to the value blue, and we are also returning the variable. And we have a log statement here that will log out myFavoriteColor invoked. Let's run the code and see what happens this time. We get blue logged out. So the reason we get blue logged out is if you assign a value to a variable that has not been yet declared, it will automatically become a global variable. So under the hood, what we are really seeing here is a global variable being declared automatically. It will be as if this code was already created, and we have just assigned it inside the function here. Let's run the code again to confirm. Great. We get the same thing logged out. So the point is, scope refers to the visibility of variables in JavaScript. Variables are either considered to be in scope or not. Also, functions can create new scopes in JavaScript. We can never access variables inside of a function, only outside of it. And that's how scope in JavaScript works. Great, that sums up this lesson. See you in the next video.